Hey everyone, today we have Gracie Casas. She's a 3D motion animator, artist, designer, and we are excited to hear about her background and your connection to the arts.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet y'all. All right. So my background basically, I was born in Florida, and as soon as I was born, it was just like everybody has their purpose in life. Everybody has like dreams and stuff. And my thing, like part of me was just I was always creating stuff. I was always thinking of things, and I was just always an artist. And part of being an artist was just creating, being curious, exploring, experimenting in a way. So I just always drew. I tried different mediums. I sculpted. I did this. Digital art, fine art. And then college came around and I was like, I don't know what to do. I think everybody has that problem. And then
Right.
I was like, hey, brother, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what do he was an artist, or he is an artist too. So I was like, what do I do? And he said, I think you'd be really good at animation
Mm.
and 3D art. And I toured my future campus, and I immediately fell in love with it. I was like, yes, this makes sense. I've always been into cartoons, I've always been into animation, and it makes sense. And I did that for 2 years, graduated with my bachelor's, and then I started working a year after that. And now, 4 years later, still in the industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're still so young and your future is so bright. And when we met that time and you were telling me about the stuff you do and you showed me your art, I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, this is so futuristic and cool. And for me, as more of like a graphic designer, I feel like I love seeing the 3D elements that you bring to your pieces. And it feels so like perfect and like on trend for like NFT art. It feels like the right vibe. So love your artwork. And I wanted to ask you about your journey as a hungry artist, which is AKA like a talented, determined creator with all this drive. So like, do you have some stories you could share of like, I guess it could be anything from like how you started and like moments where like how did you become where you are now, having a nice career like in with like 4 years of experience doing 3D motion graphics, like share a story or tell us like, about your journey.
Yeah, I'll definitely start from the beginning because I think that's the most important. And I think the beginning part is where a lot of people either make it or break it. And, you know, in the beginning, I had nothing. I had no connections to anybody. I had no financial support for it. I was just um, kind of like floating in this space of like, I'm in Florida and I have all this like, I have all this fresh skill because I just graduated, and I was feeling really down. I ended up working at a restaurant as a hostess for a while. And then I almost quit because it was just not happening for me. And I used Instagram and social media as like a visual diary or a visual portfolio to express my art and design. And the thing is like I was still so inspired and motivated to just keep making art, even if it wasn't benefiting me financially or career wise yet. I was just like, this is me, like I have to do this. And then I almost quit, but I remember I cried. I was like, okay, I'm crying, it's frustrating, but I kept going.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually people liked what I was doing, and that's how I got my first job. It's like I kept posting, I got more exposure, I got better over time. And then I was able to apply at a VFX design studio in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they accepted me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they accepted me as an intern. And I was like, wow, okay, maybe I do have like a skill that I can work on. And now I'm finally able to grow.
Yeah.
And that was a whole challenge in and of itself because it's like New York versus
Mhm.
Florida is so different.
Right, right. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love a story that you were saying that you cried, because I feel like I've cried many times in my early days of working in design and just art. It's hard, it's very cutthroat. And, you can have a lot of this talent, but like you also have to just really put in like the blood, sweat, and tears. And so I relate. And what you were saying about Instagram, I think it's like such a great tool. Like when I was first starting off working, there was no social media and Instagram where you can share your art. I mean, I'm way older, but I feel like now it's like to be able to share your art and people find you through Instagram is pretty amazing to have a tool like that. And so I remember when we talked, you shared a story about even on Instagram, you were posting a lot of stuff, and then another, I guess it was like a big influencer slash artist kind of like copied your artwork exactly the way it was. And like, then you were able to kind of really make that right. And then make something that was like, I think like turning lemons into lemonade, that kind of situation. You want to share that story? Because I feel like artists should hear things like this.
Yeah. And they should, because unfortunately, it's been happening so
So much.
much,
Mhm.
especially recently. I saw a video yesterday about how like Shein, do you know Shein? Like that
Oh yeah,
big.
the fashion brand.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm honestly afraid to go on there because they've been stealing so many Instagram artists' work
Right.
recently. And but back to the original
Mhm.
story. Um, I posted this artwork in like 2019.
Mhm.
And at the time, I just moved to New York, and I was inspired by this one piece of architecture. Uh, and I was like, okay, I want to recreate this kind of style of home in 3D and bring my own style to it because it's all space age related. And then that was the piece that became so viral and out of control that
Mhm.
like celebrities were reposting it.
Mhm.
And like people that I dreamed of talking to were reposting it, and I just thought, but they don't know who the artist is. And it got so watered down that I saw a post from this influencer, and it was a pop-up shop in Mexico, literally my artwork,
Mhm.
like recreated. And she, I knew it was her that had the idea and copied it, because months prior, she reposted that same thing. And people in the comments, and even me included, were telling her, hey, that's my artwork. Can you please tag me for like exposure? Like
Right.
being really nice about it. And a lot of people were like, damn, like I feel really bad for you because she's not like responding to you. And
Giving
she's,
you the credit. That's like your artwork.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
honestly, she was kind of acting like it was hers.
Wow.
And she was like so pissed that I called her out. And she
Mhm.
showed me like, hey, like like here's the mood board. And like, dude, that was the biggest mistake, because 80% of the mood board was my work. And I was like,
Wow.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
this isn't right.
That's so wrong. But then through it, you
Yeah.
said all the people in the comments started looking through everything. And it's pretty transparent that it's timestamped that it was your work. And so then everyone started to side with you. And then you ended up gaining more followers. And then the brand took it down.
Yeah. So, and I thankfully, and I can't say this will happen for everybody
Right.
because unfortunately, justice is not usually served for this kind of stuff. But
Right.
I thankfully was at a point in my career where I had enough connections in the art community and the 3D community where I reached out to somebody that knew her very personally and knew the design company very personally, and was able to get me compensated for that work. And both parties were like, just like, this has been such a nightmare project.
Mhm.
I don't have anything good to say about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And dude, I even got scared. I was like, man, like this girl is talking about like watch your back and like all this crazy stuff. I was like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's
are
like
you
really like within art. And then like when somebody creates something and somebody copies it, it's like there's a lot of like things that can happen. And even in like NFTs and Web3, I've heard stories where people are taking advantage. They're like vultures to artists, and especially artists that might not have a big following or a little bit less known, but are like really talented. They will go after those artists and try to, monopolize on their work and then take it as a cash grab. I mean, I think right now with all the transparency and all the artists kind of supporting each other, I think when you build this community and you have a voice, then people will back you because the truth will always kind of come out. So that's really great that with your situation, it ended up, kind of working in your favor. So I'm glad that I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I'm glad that it all worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, me too. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And then your artwork that you created and collaborated with us for Hungry Artists, Exquisite Collabs. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, basically, so if people aren't yet familiar with my work, I'm really inspired by space age and mid-century modern, all that cool, like tropical Palm Springs inspired stuff. And I am at a point in my artwork where I'm not just exploring the solar systems or reality. It's like I'm exploring the cosmos, I'm exploring the universe, and the idea of like changing your human form and turning into starlight. And the legs that I created for the Hungry Artists was kind of, it's kind of representative of that idea of like the legs are in a different dimension. They're getting spaghettified.
Yeah, it's super,
Yeah.
super cool.
Thank
Love
you.
that. Yeah, so that one is dropping soon, and it's going to be for 48 hours. I have the exact date right here, but I don't want to say it until let's see. Sorry, I should have memorize what date this is. Yours is coming July 12th. Okay,
Yeah.
so July 12th, we have to make sure that we tell everyone because it's the coolest NFT and I love that it's collaborated. Your legs are with wings with this other girl from the Stacks ecosystem. Her name is Grace from Crash Punks, and she made these really amazing wings. So to see the three different creators come together and make something really cool, I'm excited to reveal that on July 12th. I also was wondering, like, what's your thoughts on NFTs, on Web3? Like, are you all for it? Are you like waiting? Like, what's your kind of connection to it?
Yeah. So in 2020, I remember when things started really ramping up for NFTs. And, you mentioned it earlier, like vultures started reaching out to me very early on. And I was like, what is this thing? Like, I don't understand. And then it blew up. And at the beginning, I'm like, yes, this is perfect because it's a way for digital artists to finally be on the same level as like fine art and contemporary art in like auction houses and stuff like that. But now I feel like it's just being really taken advantage of by the wrong people. So I feel like it's definitely at a like right now everything crashed.
Yeah.
And I think that's partially the fault of financial bros, like just trying to take advantage of this beautiful space that should be more geared towards the artist, if I'm being honest. Like, I think digital artists should really like reclaim the space for them.
Yes, I love that.
And yeah, and Web3 included. I think it's great technology. I'm a digital artist. I'm all for the future.
Yeah.
Just definitely want it to benefit the artist
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
And I think the crash in a way is nice because everybody who is in it for the cash grab, they're not going to want to stick around because they're like, oh, there's no money here, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I think for us as creators and digital artists and even traditional artists, if they are able to share their art using the technology of the blockchain and having that true ownership and taking out the intermediaries, I feel like could help all of us benefit. So I'm glad that you are optimistic about Web3 and NFTs. And I love what you said about us reclaiming the space, because if they wanted to see good art and for artists to really be highlighted, I feel like with what I'm trying to build with like, bringing together people like you and all the creators is like, basically let's build a community so we could reclaim it in the way we want to, so we can see it, so like we're not feeling like we're getting taken advantage of, but like we could do it in our way. And this is just like one NFT. Like I can't wait till you drop your collection, or other people that we're collaborating with drops their collection, and then we all support each other, and then just it becomes more artists coming into the space because it's going to be a safer space. So I'm definitely optimistic for that. Lastly, I wanted to ask you, what are you currently working on, and where can people find you?
Totally. I'm currently working on a brand. It hasn't come out yet, but we will be releasing sometime later this year. All I gotta say is it's love related and it's pug related, so watch out for that.
Yeah.
And you can currently find me on Instagram at Grace_Annam, as well as Twitter, Grace Marie Casas. And I also have a website. I think I can link you to that because it's a longer link. So
Yeah, I'll put the link on the YouTube like channel video. I'll put that under this recording so people could find you. But everybody should check it out because your work is so cool. It's futuristic. It's like brings you. It's like next level. It makes you feel like you're like in space. But you have different kind of styles within your style. So I love that. And then tell me about that mermaid thing you were telling me you're working on. Is that also your current job, right?
yeah, so I work full time right now at MGA, which we take care of Bratz, Rainbow High, LOL Surprise, and my brand, which is Mermaids. So please check out Mermaids.
Yeah, my
It's so
daughter's gonna love that. I have to have Riley watch that. It's on Netflix, right?
not yet, but it's on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Season
Perfect.
1 is releasing on YouTube, so check that
Very
out.
cool. Amazing. Well, thanks, Gracie, for coming here and telling us about your art and background. And we can't wait to launch yours very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.